All right, let's go. It's time to declutter. I have my palettes laid out according to the brands just to make it easier. Let's see where the chips fall because, like I said, it's time to just get rid of some things, and I don't know where the palettes are going. So some will be given away and some will hit the trash can because they're old. But let's go ahead and get started. So first up, I have my Sugar High palette by Menagerie Cosmetics. So really beautiful foiled shadows. This is what it looks like. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep it. I didn't really get a chance to use it this past year, but I think I'm going to go ahead and still keep this. Now, this is just sad. It really is. This is the Pharaoh palette by Menagerie. I have never used this. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. I have never used this, but I still don't want to get rid of it. So I'm going to keep that one, okay? And then let's see. We have the Indigo Ink by Menagerie, and I do really think this is a really pretty palette, so I am going to hang on to this. So yeah, you know, palettes we haven't even used, and I'm failing already. Let's get the next batch of palettes. All right, next up, let's see. We have these palettes. I don't really have like a whole lot of these in this particular brand category. So first up, we got Notoriously Morbid. This is the Rusted Essence palette. It's a really beautiful color story, but I don't really care for their formula. I know a lot of my friends do like Notoriously Morbid, but I'm going to pass. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to declutter that one. All right, so then we also have the Nabla palette. This is the Nabla Cutie palette, and this is the Wild Berry. So really pretty color story, but let's talk about it. I mean, it's pretty, but I have these colors a lot in my Pat McGrath palettes. So I am going to go ahead and get rid of this one. I have, this is the Sea Witch palette by Electrum Cosmetics. This is the only one. Really pretty multi-chromes. Like this color right here. Oh my gosh, it is so pretty. This one also gray base. Really pretty jewel tones. I am going to go ahead and keep this. Okay, we have the Wonderland by Winter Wonderland. This is by Cosmic Brushes. I have not done a video on this. I've only used it once. So far, I feel so about it. I need to play with it more. And I'm going to go ahead and keep this. Now, we have the Moonfall palette by Shroud Cosmetics. I am definitely keeping this. I love this baby. This was also in one of my top palettes of 2023. I will definitely be keeping this palette. It's Freaking Bats. Definitely will be keeping it. This is also by Shroud Cosmetics. And I love this color story as well. Definitely keeping it. We have a House Labs. This is a gift that I got from Natalia Larevo. I just got this palette. I'm going to definitely go ahead and keep it. This is the Eye Library. I want to say it's called. It's the more of the warm, cool story. Really pretty shadows. Really nice performance. I will be keeping it. I have Desert Monsoon by What's Up Beauty. This was gifted to me by the brand. Really pretty shadows. I will definitely keep this one. And then I also have the newest one right here. This is the Dragon Eye. They gifted this to me also. I love the packaging on this. Really pretty shadows as well in this particular palette. Really kind of surprises me as I played with it more. So I will be keeping this as well. All right. So now we have some Sugar Drizzle palettes. So we got the Trick Roar Tree. I love this little thing. It is so stinking cute. The color story, the performance of the shadows. So I will definitely be keeping this palette. And then we also have, what is this? This is the Pizza Kitty palette by Sugar Drizzle. Really pretty color story, really pretty shadows. I haven't used this one in a while, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it. And then we have the MILF Man I Love Frogs, green and purple. Love me some green and purples. I'm going to go ahead and keep it for now. I haven't used this in a while, but let's see if I get a little bit more use out of it this year. Okay, so I also have some Nomad Cosmetics palettes. And we have, this is the America Parks palette. I am going to go ahead and keep this. So really pretty color story. And I want to try, like, even though I do a good job at rotating my collection, I feel like this year I haven't because, I don't know, it was a time period where I was just really struggling to get makeup on my face. I was even struggling just to do my brows. And you guys know how I feel. I'm like, I'm going to definitely have my brows together so I don't look like I'm going through something. But this is the Nomad Fire and Ice. I did use this a few times this past year, so I'm definitely keeping this. I love this palette. Really beautiful color story. And I went to Iceland last January. It was beautiful. And then we have Ghost Town USA. Oh my gosh, this was a release from the 2023. This is also by Nomad Cosmetics. I'm definitely keeping this. New to the collection, such a beautiful, beautiful color story. Now this palette isn't going anywhere, but I put it in my collection so you guys can see it. I haven't used it. It's a sentimental. It was like a private vendor, but this is where I went to school. I went to Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, more so known as FAMU. Okay. And this is our mascot. We are the Rattlers. So I love this. And this is the color. Our colors are green and orange. So, and the names are after, you know, buildings. Like we had the B.L. Perry building. We had Bragg Memorial Stadium, Tucker Hall. The orange room was like a cafe. Lee Hall, our auditorium. Gibbs was a dorm. Young was a dorm. Truth was a dorm. Sanson's a dorm. She had a lot of boys' dorms on here. What happened to McGuinn? Yeah, I don't know. Truth was a girl's dorm, though. Maybe she lived in Truth. I lived in McGuinn. McGuinn doesn't exist anymore, but definitely keeping this. I have the St. Angel Sinners palette. This is by a collaboration with Smeek Briande. Follow Your Dreams. Absolutely love this palette. Beautiful, beautiful color story. I will definitely be keeping this. The shimmers in here are fantastic, as well as the mattes. Lots, even though these like three look alike, they're really like not alike, you know? Are my hands kind of ashy? I feel like I could use a little moisturization here, so I'll be back. All right, I found me some lotion, and here are my two palettes that I have by the brand Inslee Rain. So Harvest Moon, this is one of my favorites that from last year or the 2023. And this is what she looks like with the cover sleeve, and it's a beautiful multi-chrome palette. Beautiful fall shades. I have been loving it, been playing in it so much. And then this one just came in. I just got this yesterday. Today is Sunday the 7th when I'm filming this, and I just filmed with this palette prior to doing this video. This is the Cold Moon palette. So, oh my gosh. Spoiler alert. Although this video will probably be up before the declutter, I love this palette. I am in love with it. The shimmers are beautiful. Unfortunately, this is on pre-order until like March. So I don't know, but definitely keeping both of these. All right, we got some Juvia's Place. So I think these are the last Juvia's Place palettes I have in my collection. And I love me some Juvia's Place, but I think it's just time to let some of these go. I have never used this. Maybe I've used it once. But I'm going to hang on to her because I do really like these tones. And yeah, I'm going to hang on to, this was the little quad. This was called Army Rebel. So I'm going to hang on to this one. We have the mauves, okay? And I'm going to let her go. So I think we know if I want some mauve, I can go to Pat. Kind of the same what we said with the Nebula palette. And then we have the berry. It's really pretty as well. But I'm going, it's time. I don't even use them anymore. I have my Nomad by Juvia's as well. Really pretty color story. Really earthy. But I don't know. Do I want to? I think I want to hang on to this one. Something's telling me hang on to this. I don't know why. I haven't even used it. Okay. But the Saharan is beautiful. One of my favorites by Juvia's Place. But I'm going to go ahead and let her go. And then we have the Tribe. I think they finally brought this back. This is one of my favorite Juvia's Place palettes ever. Really cohesive color story. Also just really, really pretty shades. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let her go. But somehow I'm keeping the Tribe. Yeah, this gold right here is it still golding? Nobody said I was supposed to be in here swatching stuff, but dang. Okay. Ooh, pretty. Do I? Okay, she's in the Maybe Pal. She's in the Maybe Pal. I'm going to set her behind me in the Maybe Pal. Now, these are the Kaleidos palettes that I have left in my collection. So I have a Futurism 3. This is Astro Pink. I need them to pull it together, okay? I really need them to pull it together. But I am ready to let this go. And that was Futurism 3. Because, I mean, Kaleidos used to be so innovative. And now they're just like, what is happening? Like, you guys keep putting out the same thing. And then we have the Shasimi City. This is Futurism number 6. More pink tones. And I'm going to go ahead and let this one go as well. Now we have Angie's Collab. This is Club Nebula. I love this palette. I love the tones in this palette. Oh, those get me every time. I've used this past year, I want to say. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and hold on to this palette. All right, moving right along, I got my Klarity. So we have the Safari palette. And I am not letting this go. It could pretty much be this whole little batch. It's like show and tell. I'm not letting it go. Beautiful, beautiful palette. Next up, we have Evil Mermaid. Really pretty tones. This one was a little bit too monochromatic for my taste, but really, really pretty tones. So I'll be holding on to that. This is the Komodo palette. This was a Black Friday release, so I've only played with it off camera. Really beautiful, beautiful shades. Oh my gosh. Do you see this color story? It's everything. So I'm definitely holding on to her. Next up, we have the Bridal Party. They had quite a few releases this year. So I don't think I ever got a chance to film with this, no. But it's really, really pretty. The colored stones. I mean, and look at these shimmers. Klarity knows how to make a shimmer. And we have Lost at Sea. When she arrived, I really wasn't feeling makeup, but really pretty. Mermaid vibes. Look at those shimmers once again. Now we have the Lily palette. Now this is to me when their formula really kind of just started improving quite a bit. Really gorgeous shades. And oh my gosh, this multi-chrome is the multi-chromes of multi-chromes. Do you see that? Are you able to see that shift? Look at it. Oh my gosh. We have the Bloom palette. Now, I think this palette I actually could let go. I'm going to let this one go. Pretty shades, but I found this one really hard to work with. Really like the color story, but this one, it was just too much. I didn't enjoy these particular shimmers in this particular palette, so I am going to let Bloom go. Now we have Apocalypse. Oh my gosh, definitely not letting her go. Really gorgeous shades, really pretty multi-chromes. Just look at those shifts. The color story is amazing as well. And now we have the Croc. Definitely not letting her go, and I'm loving how they're doing these palettes and midi palettes because look, listen, who is using these? And I just used this recently. I had so much fun. Oh, just such a beautiful palette. All right, I can pretty much guarantee you this little stack is not going anywhere. These are my Blends Bunny palettes. So first up, we have the All Done Up palette. Really gorgeous shades, really nice earthy tones, really pretty looks that you can get with this. Love this palette. We have the Lore palette, and this was the Mermaid. Really gorgeous tones. Oh, and this little multi-chrome, dual chrome situation, really pretty too. The purples, the mints. This is Sugar and Grunge. Oh my gosh, so pretty. And really, really pretty tones. Just sugar and sweet, like grungy and sweet at the same time, for real. We have the Sickly Sweet palette. This was the Halloween release from this past year. And, you know, the girls went crazy because everything was more scattered versus like a, you know, a gradient for the Blend Bunny. We have Primal. Now this one is, I would say, was my least favorite, but I am going to hold on to it because I do talk about Blend Bunny a lot on my channel. So kind of just fills in the gaps where Blends left off. We have the Surge palette. Definitely not getting rid of her. Really made me fall in love with Blend Bunny. And this is no longer available, so I'm definitely holding on to this particular palette. Oh, another favorite of mine is the Doll House. I love it so much. I reach into this palette all the time, especially when I'm working with like a lot of my multi-chromes and things like that. Or if I just want to wear it by itself, I really, really enjoy this palette. We had the OG. The OG is the Blends, and she actually came back. She's back, and this is what started it all. And I was like, oh my gosh, let me try this. A rainbow palette of all rainbow palettes. And now, beautiful, oh, one of my favorites. We have Machina, and she did her thing on this one. Do you see this color story? Do you see it? I love it. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I've been having a lot of fun with it for the past like 3-4 weeks. All right, so now we got the rest of the ColourPop, the last little bit. And we have the Smoke Show. I actually wore this on New Year's Eve mixed with an Adept palette. And I think I'm ready to let her go. I definitely love her. But the shade it just felt a little patchy. And I have blacks like in that Machina and grays in the Machina palette and across my Blend Bunnies that I can reach into. So I'm going to let her go. Now we have Baroque, and this color story is very unique. So I am going to hold on to this one. However, now these two right here, they have lived so many times through a declutter. Like, I have never wanted to declutter them. They have lived so many times, but goodbye. I'm sorry. Sauvalier, gorgeous too. Nope, I'm sorry. And then we have Lush. Lush is cute. She has some cute colors, but I'm going to go ahead and let that go as well. Now we have my Glaminatrix palette. So we have the beautiful Into the Night palette. This was a release for 23, really pretty. I will definitely be holding on to this. We have, this is the Glamorous palette, really gorgeous palette as well. Oh my gosh, do you see the shimmers? Do you see the mattes? Really, really pretty. I'm holding on to it. My beautiful Nocturnal palette. Whoo, I had to wait for this sucker. Oh my gosh, but I love it. I love the color story, and I still kept rocking with the brand after. Like, this pre-order took forever. So, but I still kept rocking with the brand, and I am actually an affiliate with the brand now. But I love this color story. But all of these palettes that you see, I have purchased myself. And we have Sandra Rose. This is the mini Sandra Rose that came out in the last year or so. She's kind of seen some things. I don't know. She looks, I dug my finger into her or something about to fall. But beautiful, beautiful palette. We have Silent Night. This was a Christmas release, I want to say, for the year 21. Gorgeous shades. And this shade Baubles is really, really pretty. She sells that separately. We have Rich Romantic that came out this past year in 23. Gorgeous shades. I will definitely be keeping this. I've had a lot of fun with this palette. Sugar and Spice also came out this past year. She had a lot of releases this year. Really pretty palette. I'm keeping it. We have the You Beauty palette. This is my first palette that I've ever tried by them. Oh my gosh. And let me see. Good Day. Like Good Day Mate. Gorgeous. Okay. Love the shades in here. Love the color story. I will be keeping it. And then we have Nearly, what is this? Nearly Natural. I used to be thinking it was Nearly Neutral. It's Nearly Natural, but child. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. You know, this kind of gives me the vibes of Urban Decay Naked 3, but better. But more pigmented. All right, I got these babies here. These are the BH Sweet Shop palettes. I think I'm gonna go ahead and let these go. Really pretty tones, but I'm not using them. And poor little BH Cosmetics, you know, when they were really getting good or getting better, getting a lot of hype, you know, they went out of business. Cherry on Top. Whew, beautiful, beautiful reds. I mean, like, these color stories were just great. The pistachio, everything. But I'm going to go ahead and let them go because they are literally just taking up space. And now I have my Glam Shop palettes. This is the Glam Shop Poland. So this one was a newer palette. I might have gotten this year and I forgot about it, but I think I did. But I'm definitely going to keep this little green baby right here. Oh my gosh, I love me some Glam Shop Poland. They have some of the most beautiful single shadows. This is the Totally Blast Nude palette. Tons of beautiful nude shades. I'm definitely keeping this one as well. We have the Z-Lone palette. The Z-Lone palette I have actually repurchased because I think I dropped the palette. So when I picked up the other one, yeah, like, oh my gosh, do you see this? These were like ColourPop palettes that were, you know, like the monochromatic ones, but like on steroids because of the shimmers. This is the Camo Glam. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And these are marble shades. So, you know, like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with that? So, yeah. Okay, this one I do not know how to pronounce, but it's a beautiful berry purple tone palette. I am definitely going to keep this one as well. Like, look at this hollow shade. That's the thing about this. Like, you get really cool, interesting shades inside of the palettes. Now, this is Laguna or Mermaid. Beautiful shades. Now, this one, I feel like I can let Laguna go. So, I'm going to go ahead and let Laguna go. We have Paprika. Honey, she ain't going nowhere because these red tones from Paprika are like, are you kidding me? Fire. Look at this golden red shade. Like, are you kidding me? And then these best perform with like a glitter glue. And they are just so beautiful. But I will definitely be keeping this palette. So that's why it kind of like satisfies somewhere where, you know, the BH Sweet Shops kind of like left off. And then this one I do not know how to pronounce. This has a pretty springtime muted color story, kind of spring lilac. So I'm gonna keep this. It's a little different. Oh my gosh. And this one, oh, is like the palette of palettes, the Turbina. Oh my gosh. I wanted to wear this like palette during Christmas season, but I didn't get a chance to. Just gorgeous, gorgeous shades. All right, these going nowhere, okay? These are my Adept Cosmetic palettes. We're going to start off with Codaine. I don't even know if she's available anymore. I did wear this year. Had so much fun. Oh my gosh, just beautiful, beautiful multi-chromes. I have the Heather Austin palette. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, she did such a great job with this palette. I have a lot of fun wearing this. House of L. Oh my gosh, you know House of L ain't going nowhere. These shades in here, this red shade, oh, this is the rose gold of rose golds. I mean, these shades are just fabulous. The mattes are cool, but it's all about these, and it's really this middle row. We have the Plain Jane right here, remastered. So here she is, beautiful as well. We got Minka. Minka was a little bit more textured and formula, but I really enjoyed it. I like the purples, but I feel like the mattes were still not like the best up to par in this particular palette, so they were just okay, but really pretty shades in here. Oh my gosh, one of my favorites of all time, Amulet New. Whew. Love this color story. This is the deep version because it has the blue, and oh my gosh, Ree is my shade. These two, like, oh my gosh. Yes, I'll be wearing this in the month of January. She got to come on out. And then Hydran, oh my gosh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I also like love to go into this palette for this particular gold shade. This is my type of gold, like that Melanie bronzy type of gold. Love it. She's going nowhere. One of my favorites. I'm rocking hard with the Sumerian Sunset for sure. I love this palette. Oh my gosh, I wore this shade on Christmas Day. It was amazing. We have the what is this, jellyfish? Yes, beautiful, beautiful tones. I love the pastels in here. Really fun moments in this palette, especially depending on the mattes you put it with. It can really just totally transform these shades. This is the Inspired by Arrow palette. You know she's going nowhere either. Really, really pretty green tones. The only thing is I did not like these three mattes in here, but everything else, oh, in this one shade, but everything else I loved about it. And we have La Cienega, really beautiful neutral tones. So like if you need some mattes to kind of pull from, and these palettes are magnetic, you can kind of just mix and match. Really beautiful shades in this palette. And we have my girl, my newest girl, Element 115. That came out around Black Friday. I love this palette. I've been having so much fun. For New Year's Eve, I wore this shade with the Smoke Show palette. And it was gorgeous. It really was. All right, let's take these little babies. They're going nowhere. I love them so. And I'm so like, ugh. Because when I finally tried this brand, this is like a few months prior to the war breaking out in Russia and Ukraine. So, of course, I support Ukraine, but I believe this person is very much against the war. This is Tammy Tanuka, but you know she cannot speak out because of the policies in Russia. But this is, I want to say, is this the chinchilla? Let me tell you, like these palettes, and I love how they do little mini versions. Love it. And the quality of these palettes are fabulous, like Pat McGrath level. Beautiful. And I love how they do little mini palettes. So I want to say this is the chinchilla. Gorgeous color story. Oh my gosh. We have the, what was this, the snake or the garden snake? Gorgeous, like the multi-chromes. This one got a little messy. I want to say this shade kind of fell out on me, but gorgeous, gorgeous color stories, gorgeous performance. Oh my gosh. I got to play with these this year. The Toad palette. Oh, and she has so many. Look at this beautiful neutral palette. Like, oh my gosh. The shimmers in here are just like butter. Do you see that? Butter. Like, oh my gosh, just like they just don't quit. They don't stop. And then this is the Royal Peacock. Beautiful as well. Beautiful color story. I'm so mad I can't get my hands on any more of these at the moment. And this is the Little Black Glove. I have worn this recently. I actually wore this to the Creators and Friends event. Look at this. Do you see that red and then this blackish multi-chrome here? Oh my gosh. Like it's everything. Such high quality palettes. Love the aesthetic. Love how they look. Now, these are my new palettes that just came in the mail yesterday from Shell We. And if I'm honest, I feel like the Shell We kind of reminds me of like the Tammy Tanuka vibes. They wrap them with the same thing, you know, with like the brown paper and, you know, like the cord ribbons, and they have many versions. Hence you see these are the keychain palettes, and they have mini versions and they have large versions. So I have just got these in the mail yesterday, literally. So this is the Dream Escape palette. So I said, let me try these out. So I got the little mini ones and they had a little sale. So I got actually all of these for a really good price. Let's see. This is the Circus palette. I'm like, okay, it's going to be hard to get my brushes in there, but you know, it's hard to kind of get the, you know, my brushes in the little Tammy ones, but I make it work. And then we also have, this is Liana, and Shell We is out of China. Beautiful. I was looking at this one for such a long time. Such a gorgeous color story. That would have been great for Christmas. But this little pre-order for this one took a while and they shipped everything together. And this is the Deathless Spirit palette. They have a new one and I'm like, okay, so I need to look at these and see how I like these first before I order that new one. Because that new one, that color story is giving life. This is the Miss Witch palette. So this is what made me pull the plug and place my order. beautiful. I think like they could have put the stickers on a little bit better, but I'm really excited to try the performance of the shadows. Like, look at that. Let's do a swatch. Let's do a swatch. Ooh, ooh, okay, okay. That feels good. You know, I had to give my little grubby fingers in here. Okay, so it spreads out a little bit more sheer, but I think like build it up, put a glitter glue on it. It'll be cool. It'll be fine. Yeah, look at this green. Oh man. So yeah. And then Matt's kind of swatch like whatever, but we'll see. Okay, I'm excited to play. So look out for the video on trying Shall We? Because, you know, it's my first time really trying them. All right, we got the Odin's Eye. All right, let's start with my 2 disappointments. And I put this in my video on would I buy this again? Floor Story. This was Odin's Eye Floor Story in collaboration with Makeup Just for Fun. Beautiful color story, but it was something off with the performance of these shadows. I was just not happy with it, so I will be decluttering it. No questions asked. Same, unfortunately, with Lauren's palette. It's not her. Her color story is gorgeous also, but I don't know what happened with the production of these palettes. They were just not great. So no, sorry. I just can't. I can't. Now, let's see. We have the Hummingbird palette. This was a collaboration with Tina, the Fancy Face. So, let's see. I love this color story. They did such a good job on this particular collab. So, that's why I was like, what happened here? Excuse me. I'm doing so much talking. My voice is like, But I definitely will be keeping this palette. All right. Sorry, y'all. So much coughing. But this is the Jewels and Gem palette by Odin's as well. I will be keeping this. I really enjoyed it. It came out this year as well. And we have, let's see, the Erd palette. And this is a really cool color story. So I will be hanging on to the Erd. I'm definitely hanging on to my Christmas morning palette. I had a lot of fun. I didn't use this around Christmas. I wanted to use this like doing some looks as they came back, but I've had fun like using this throughout the year. It's such a good color story. So yeah. And Christmas Eve is equally as beautiful. Now this is like the part where I'm like, why do I hold on to these dang on sleeves? They get so annoying. But really gorgeous palette. And I am definitely hanging on to this. Let's see. Okay. Now I have Angie's palette right here. This is the Hella palette, and it has the 2 colors. I did not get the Halloween palettes, but I think I'm gonna hold on to this one. And I have the Norns right here. So the Norns, I think I'm actually kind of ready to let the Norns palette go. So this is the Norns. Really pretty, but I think I never really reach for it anymore too much. So I think I'm just going to let it go. All right. So we got some ABH and some Ace Beauty. So let's see. I picked these up this year too. I forgot. But I got the Floor palette. Never even tried this out. So I'm going to hang on to it because it's a gorgeous color story. And then we have the Begonia. And I felt like this was a really pretty color story too. So I never got a chance to try. So I'm going to hang on to them. And then we got Tropical Vibes. I definitely did wear this year because, you know, she's definitely giving Natasha Denona yucca for her money, you know. So I'm going to hang on to her. We got the ABH Subculture. Whew, cost the store. This is like the reformulated version one. I am going to hold on to this one because I decluttered it and then I decided I wanted it back. So this is the reformulated one. I'm going to keep this. Now we have Norvina. Now, Norvina is really pretty. Norvina had them shimmers, you know, kind of like ahead of her time. Let's see. Do I want to keep Norvina? And then I have Soft Glam. Like, I like never reach for these though. Like I reach for Norvina more than I reach for Soft Glam. What do I want to do? Like, I'm so confused. I mean, these are pretty, but like these are not like my shades. Like I would go to like a Pat McGrath if I probably wanted to wear something like this. I think I'm gonna keep Norvina. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Norvina. Soft Glam. I think I'm gonna say goodbye to Soft Glam. I'm literally good with that. I'm acting like I'm not good with it, but I'm good with it. And then Jackie Aina, she ain't going nowhere. Jackie's staying, baby. Jackie is the bomb. I still have used her even this year, I want to say. And then we have the MAC Cosmetics. What was this? The Feast Your Eyes palette. Really pretty. Really, really pretty. But I think I can let this go, honestly. All right, we got some smaller palettes here and some kind of one-offs. We got my Viseart Dark Edit palette. I'm going to keep her. She is beautiful. Love it. I don't use this as much, but she's really pretty. I have my Dark Mattes. This is the original version of it. I use this quite a bit, you know, especially like pulling out with all my shimmer shadows from like the shimmer palettes and from the Adept Cosmetics and my single shadow. So I get busy with this. I got some Thomas. I only have 2 palettes. I have this quad in Photosynthesis. I'm definitely going to hang on to her. Really pretty color story. And then I also have Electric Cherry. I'm hanging on to her. Just got this year. Really, really pretty. Soft, beautiful red vibes. I got 2 palettes right here from the Lip Bar. So I have this little quad called the After Party Eyeshadow quad. Really pretty shades, but I never touch it. I love the Lip Bar, but I'm gonna get rid of it. And then I also have this one right here. This is the Island Gal collection. This was a collab that they had with Justine Skye. And it was like a face and eyeshadow palette. I'm going to let her go as well. But I love the Lip Bar. Like I get down definitely with their lipsticks for sure. I have this Dior Quint that Kara gave me. This is a Black Knight. Really pretty. I haven't even had a chance to use it, so I am going to definitely hold on to this. Beauty and the Frizz. That's Kara. She gave that to me. It is like a little cover over it. Let's see. There we go, so you can see it better. In its entirety, that burgundy shade is gorgeous. And then I have this Makeup by Mario. So this was the Glam Quads, Rosy Glam. So I can let this go, honestly. Because I definitely have like a quad over there by Pat McGrath that I can use instead of this. So I'm going to let her go. All right, I got some Huda and a little Glam Light. I have the Huda Rich. This is one of the little 9 pans. I'm going to keep her. Like, I know she definitely complements the Naughty Nudes, and I've used this past year. So if I can get it open, there we go. So I know they're like kind of on the same level, but I am going to keep both of these. We still don't know her. She actually doesn't look as bad as she could be looking, that little Petri dish shade. And then we have Pretty Grunge. And this was a release from this year, and I really like it, so I'm going to hold on to it. Next up, we got a little Glam Light here. Okay, we have the Chucky palette. So let me see if I can break it open. This palette is really cool with the lenticular motion. Crazy in Love. Look at these tones. Definitely keeping it. We have Chocolate Martini. Really pretty rosy tones. These shimmers are not the best. Like, they're pretty, but they're not like, oh my gosh. Like, they've definitely come, their shimmers have come a long way. They feel a little, well, I guess they work. Yeah. I don't know. But let's see. And then we have Dirty Martini. I love how this looks too, but do we need? because they definitely have improved their formula since these. This one feels better than Chocolate Martini. But I remember this, it was just like a little hard to pick up. I think, I'm gonna put this in the baby pal, and Dirty Martini is gonna come over here. But I know for sure they've definitely upgraded their formula. Like this one is beautiful. This is the Glamlite Hershey's Cookies and Cream. Definitely going ahead and keeping this. Like, look at this. Like, oh my gosh. Like, they have just upped the ante. You know, it's like, where's the, like, since there. Okay, so like you see the formula has increased so much. And then I have my Scooby-Doo palettes. These are going nowhere. We love them. Oh my gosh, look how freaking gorgeous these Scooby-Doo palettes are. So gorgeous. Definitely keeping these. I don't know. Okay, so I think I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to get rid of this. Yeah, because definitely when I open up like Dirty Martini versus, like, even though this is different, but I have greens here. I don't know. And these greens, they're just okay. And I have shades I can reach for outside of this one. I did enjoy this palette, but like I said, the formula has definitely come a long way. So, yeah. Okay, we're going to keep the Scooby-Doos. And then I'm going to pull Chocolate Martini. I'm going to pull it. They're both of those are being decluttered, okay? That's the end of that one. Because, yeah, as I swatch the Hershey's palette, honey, it's just no comparison. And then even the still with the Chucky palette, it's just no comparison. All right, we got some more. We're almost there, I think. I feel like. So this is the Alma palette, and this has been sentimental for me, but I think I'm going to go ahead and let it go. This was by Amy Loves Makeup. The brand didn't do her right, but this was like her first collab. This was the first palette I got in PR, so I was really, really grateful. But I am going to go ahead and let this go. This was by Amy Hearts Beauty with collaboration of Amy Loves Makeup. So she's been around, but I'm going to go ahead and declutter that one. Now I have my Danessa Myricks. This is the Lightwork Volume 3. Yeah, Lightwork Volume 3 palette. Beautiful palette. I'm definitely going to go ahead and keep this one. This one did have some cream shadows, but yeah, I'm not letting her go. I have dipped into this year. I have a Lethal Cosmetics palette. I only have one by Lethal. And which palette is this called? This is Velvet Dusk. Really pretty color story. I will be hanging on to her. Okay, I was like really going to get rid of this sleeve, but then I realized I wouldn't know what the palette was called because, yeah. Okay, I have my Isabel Flair collection. So I did used to have, they've changed their affiliate codes, but I'm going to keep this because I love how this is like the same shade that you saw in the Adept palette, but I love this shade, that particular gold, when I just want a gold to wear. And I love these shades in here, so I'm going to keep it. But I think I'm going to get rid of these sleeves. Some of these sleeves are driving me cray-cray. Then I also have the Donna Fall. Really pretty color story as well. Really pretty fall shades. I'm going to keep this. And then we have the one that started it all, was to break the rules. When this came out, like, you know, it was shimmer palette galore. You hear the sleeves hitting. I'm like, I'm tired of them. And I really love this. There's some pretty colors in here. Do I probably have some of these colors? Yes, but I do like these palettes for like when I travel, because I will literally just take like, you know, maybe these two together and pack them in a bag, and I will be cool. And I kind of have everything I need. I have neutrals and I have pops of shimmers depending on where I'm going. So that's why I do like to keep those in my collection, even though I have things like the All I Ever Wanted. Now this is the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. Oh, you know, she like came in and stole everybody's heart. Really gorgeous. I mean, like, come on, Colored Rain. What had happened though to y'all? Really pretty. Can I get rid of this after now? Let's see. You see, that's still creamy. Oh. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Okay. This is still child. Mm. Do you see that? Still going. Well, you have lived, my dear. I have used this like in a palette rotation, but yeah, like beautiful Photoshop. Safari Rain going nowhere, and they brought this back, and it was a lot of drama with getting it back because I guess the people who are making the palette and the palette got hung up and child was a mess. And then we have Color Rain times Power. Gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I need to use this more. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Like, I mean, come on, Color Rain. What are y'all doing? Why y'all get your life together and put out some stuff, okay? Just come on. I don't understand what's happening. So I'm going to keep these. Color Rain is living, okay? All right, next batch up we got is Alien, or now it used to be called Alien Cosmetics, but now it's called Unearthly. This one is, let me see, I think this was the Serendipity palette, but I think it got changed to Poisonous Apple. Really, really pretty color story. Beautiful shimmers. I like this palette. I'm gonna hold on to it. And oh, we have Fairy Frolic. Gorgeous color story as well. Do these, like, see, the mattes are still kind of like, that one's not so great. I think this one I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let that one go. Yeah. Now, the year before last, I didn't buy anything from Unearthly really, but, well, yeah, I did actually. I bought this. But I did get the Dreamer palette, so I'm kind of looking forward to like the new stuff that they have. Like that Sorcerer's Smoke, I do have my eye on. This is really pretty. This is all I ever wanted. I do fool with this still, so I'm going to keep it. And then we have the second version right here. More shimmer palettes. You know, we love a good shimmer. And then we have the Not Normal palette. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of her. They don't even do that like format anymore. They've really upgraded their stuff. Then we have the Low Lights. This is highlighter palette, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. I don't even use it. And then this is the bunnies. Now I'm going to keep the bunnies. Like, I had a really pretty look going with the bunnies, and I never filmed this video, but yeah, I'm going to keep that. I want that Sorcerer's Smoke palette. I do. I want that. All right, Melt Cosmetics. Come on down. Let's see, because, maybe, I don't know. They've been trying it lately. Let's see. Okay, we got the Blueprint. I'm going to keep them. I don't know if I feel any type of way about it, but I'm going to keep it. We have She's in Parties. She's in Parties is really pretty as well. Nice monochromatic. I don't know. I'm just kind of falling out of love with Melt. We have the Rust palette. Now this is really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep it. I'm definitely keeping... Where's the twin? You cannot not keep these. Oh my gosh. Now these do excite me. Like, oh my gosh. They killed it with this. And it, oh my gosh. So this is Vita, and they finally brought it back. So that's Vita. Really pretty colors. We got Muerte. Really pretty colors as well. So I'll be keeping those. Smoke Sessions, it's like busted on the inside. I never used it. I'm going to get rid of it. And I love me some Mary Jane, the color story, but I am getting rid of it. Like, this is the palette I had in a video and a collab with Yachty videos, like palettes I regret buying. Like, these shimmers, I can't. So, yeah, you're going away. Sorry. This is the Fatally Yours. I like this palette. This came out this year. This is with Bailey Sarian. Really pretty color story, so I'm fooling with her. I do like her. Oh, not this eyelash that's stuck. Not this corner that I cut. Okay. Yeah, I had to cut the lashes. So yeah. Okay. Now let's see what she looking like. Because Gemini too, she been putting me through a thing. I like her, but then she be growing these weird spots and stuff. Look at that shade with the weird ass spots on it. Look at this. This is my second palette that's done this. I don't want to use this. I'm gonna have some weird eye infection and I'm not gonna be able to film. Irritated. And they replaced that palette for me. Like, but I'm definitely keeping my Beetlejuice palettes. Love. Look at it. They're so cool. This is Recently Deceased. And then we have The Waiting Room. These were a hit. This was when Melt was melting, okay? I'm gonna need Melt to pull it together. Let's see. And I love how they do like the little screen. It's like movie film reels. Very monochromatic, but good tones, good times, happy thoughts on these palettes. Great. And then we have Mariposas, okay? Now, she wasn't terrible, but she wasn't great. And Lord, this was like really the downfall. Mel, because this holiday collection about took them out, pissed everybody off. The shimmers in here were okay, but the mattes were cool, so I'm going to hang on to her. All right, so I got some Urban Decay, some Makeup History palettes in here, and a little Sydney Grace. So first up, we got the Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson Tiny Marvels collab. I will definitely be keeping this palette. Like, all right, rest in peace, Mel Thompson. Oh, Jesus. But she did a beautiful job on this palette. I like the color story, but I don't think the color story is the most for me, but I like it. We have Enduring Love. Oh, this is such a good palette by Sydney Grace. This is the deep version. So I would definitely be hanging on to her. I need to use her more. And then we have the Temptalia collab. This collab, I got the palette I wanted. So I'm going to keep this one. One is pretty, but they were just like all the same to me. But I like this one, so I'm going to keep this one. All right, we got the Moon Dust palette. She came back out this year, didn't she? So we got Moon Dust. I'm going to keep it. I don't know why. See, the problem is with these Urban Decay, I don't know. I don't even use these. Like, this is like literally like makeup history. Oh, it's another Kaleidos palette. Oh, she was stuck. This is Flower Punk. Look at how cool this is. I'm going to keep this one. Oh, man, she was like stuck. And this had the coolest packaging. And you got the little dresser. I think I got rid of the dresser, but look. Oh, man, that was cool. Okay, I'm keeping Flower Punk. All right, but these, first of all, these Naked palettes, first of all, I wouldn't even dare put these on my eyes anymore, but this was like the first palette that started palettes. But like, do I need to have it? This is the Naked 2. Like, I wouldn't even use these anymore at all. Naked 3. Remember I said that Glaminatrix palette was a much better fit? Okay, I don't need to keep these. Like, right? Like, I know they're a part of makeup history. But if I was going to have a makeup history, it would be like some Pat McGrath stuff. So, I'm not going to miss these. Like, I was about to declutter this one way back, but then they said they were discontinuing the Naked palette, and they came out with that new Naked palette. But now Urban Decay, they just be pissing me off. And then, like, I don't know. That's probably just the oil that spilled out of there. But I wouldn't even... Okay, they're just literally taking up space. I'm done. I'm done with those. Okay. But this was the jam. This is what they need to focus their efforts on, okay? I am going to keep me some Born to Run. Now, if we want to keep some makeup history, we're going to talk about this, how they need to get back to this. This is what we like. You know, this was good. This was good quality makeup, good quality palette. We had warms, we had cool, we had everyday, we had going out. Like, why, Urban? Why? Can't you get it together? Y'all make me mad. Okay, and I'm gonna keep the moon dust. So I'm gonna keep those two. Okay, that's cool because you know, them naked palettes, they just really taking up space. I mean, like literally just taking up space. All right, we're literally almost done. We're gonna be back with Natasha and then Pat. All right, back with Natasha. I don't. Okay, this might go. Yeah, I can let her go. This is the cranberry palette. I feel nothing for her. I don't know why. She was beautiful. Like I had it, I returned it, then I got it again. I don't know, on sale. I'm good. She can go. Okay. Now, Sunrise. Oh, okay. I was like, let's focus. Okay, I must have too much here. Okay. I think the camera was a little confused. It still is. I think it's this glam palette that's throwing it off. Okay. There we go. Sunrise. Sunrise, we are definitely keeping. This is when she first came out with the midi joints. Such a smart move. I will definitely be keeping this. I gotta use her more. We got the Glam Face palette. See, yeah, I think it was this mirrored thing, and it was like, okay. Really pretty shades. I haven't played with the blush or anything like that, but I have reached into this every once, especially when sometimes I need a little brown or whatever. So I'm gonna keep her. We have the My Dream palette. I'm keeping her. Sometimes I love her, sometimes I don't, but yeah, she's still rolling. We have the Bronze palette. Oh, we love some Bronze palette. This was another super great release by Natasha. We have the Gold palette. This was my first Natasha palette, and I'm definitely keeping her. Oh, for sure. We have Metropolis. I wish she would do something else like this. Oh my gosh, this was so great because this was a midi palette that was a big palette. Like you got all of this for $120 because before it used to be like these type of palettes that was just $120, but you got all it was. Come on, Natasha, give it to us. But I'm definitely keeping this. And I have the Leela. We're keeping her for sure. Beautiful, beautiful tones in here. We have Trio Chrome. Love some Trio Chrome. She was that girl. And these little pastels, they did not look ashy. Now these were not the most multi-chrome of multi-chromes, but they're a good multi-chrome formula. And you know, she did her thing with this one. But but one thing, Natasha, please stop turning everything into a midi palette. Just do something new, okay? Now we got Circo Loco. I like her. She's very unique, but you have some very unique shades that you compare with other things, mix and match. So I like it. We have a big old baby right here. This is like this is the purple blue. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I mean, the mattes perform so well. The shimmers perform very well. Yes. All right, we got the Love palette. She did a great job on this as well, too. That's why we don't need like 50 mini loves, 3-pan loves. I don't want that. Like, ma'am, that's why you were on the brand down. But I think I'm going to go back and get that Xenon, though. But still. Glam. I love some Glam. Really great tones in here. Just solid palette. And we got Retro. Love the Retro too. They're mauves, but they're pretty. Yes. I'm here for it. All right. So those are my indie palettes. All right. Let's go. Let's get into it. We got Mama Pat. Whew. Mama Pat ain't going nowhere, okay? Even the ones that make me mad are not going anywhere, okay? So we have this little Star Wars Quint. This is Divine Droid right here. This is pretty. It has good potential, but it can have a little bit more potential, okay? Because I do like the colors. That was a Star Wars collab. The second round, we have Sith Seduction. This one has way better power than the Divine Droid. Really pretty as well. Then, let's see, we have, these are from this year, the Bijou Brilliance collection. So this one is going to be Bordeaux Bliss. I like this one, even though she be making me so mad with these pinks. Y'all already know. And then we have Lunar Nightshade. So this one I said I probably wouldn't have bought again, but I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I just want better. Okay. So these are not all my quads. Well, let's take these first, okay? The big boys. She's going nowhere, okay? Let me tell you something. Celestial, Divinity, and you know, she has also the Star Wars shades in here from the original Star Wars collabs. These six, the middle new were new. We love it. Excellent work here, mama. Okay. Then she followed it up with the next mega. And I like this one too. It was a little weird how the space came out, but I did appreciate the lacquer. Really beautiful shades too. And you had some pops of colors like that green. And yes, I'm here for it. Now, people were mad at this, but I like this, okay? Because first of all, we finally got some freaking colorful mattes by Mama Pat. We finally got navies and actual purples and not mauves. We got a green. We have these red shades and a pink. Like, oh my gosh. And you mix this palette with the other palettes and put it with this. I have videos mixing this palette with Motherships and with the megas, and the looks are chef's kiss. So not going with my megas. I definitely want to use them more this year. I don't even think I touched my megas this year. Let's see. This is an Eye Ecstasy kit. I would like to see a couple more of these this year. Like, these were original shades. Now I wouldn't say they would be so original, but I pulled with this brown. I used this brown yesterday, actually. So it was a good medium zone brown, but great. Like, if you want to travel, and you need like maybe a work trip. Great. You get a little artwork with it. You know, it was good. All right. So we have this quad right here. This is Celestial Odyssey Luxe Quad. And let's see what's going on with this quad. If I can get it open. Lord Jesus. This stuff gonna be the death of me. But this is the reason why. Yeah. This is why I'm not going to keep the Makeup by Mario. Because I have this one. So this is the Makeup by Mario one. That's why I said I wanted to declutter. Because I don't really need both. Okay, so I'm definitely going to keep my Pat. The Makeup by Mario one, it wasn't bad quality, but definitely going to keep that. Like I said, everything in Pat, she's staying. I've never decluttered anything by Pat, even the ones that really, really make me mad, okay? So this is Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad Interstellar Icon. These two actually look really similar too, but Interstellar Icon, she's that girl, okay? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And what I love about these particular shades, you can use them as mattes. They're just really pretty. And we have our Venus and Floors Luxe Quad and Voyeuristic Vixen. This is like one of her best quads, literally. Oh my gosh. Like, with that Fire Opal Rose and that brown. And I love how this brown, it has like a hint of purple. It's really pretty if you just wear it by yourself all over the lid. I like that too. All right, we got the last of my quads. And then we'll go into the 6 pans. Oh, like, this doesn't seem right, but I guess it is the last of them. Okay, so this is going to be Iconic Illumination. And this was a Christmas release as well. This was one of her first quads, yes. So really pretty. There's no moisture here. I think that's literally like the sticker and stuff I've never pulled up, but really pretty. Now this one this is Ritualistic Rose. This is before the rose took over and put a chokehold on mama. So this quad is actually really pretty here. And even this shade, like, you can use as a matte. Really, really pretty shades. And one of my favorite quads, we have Celestial Nirvana, because, you know, she's like actually just different. Because she has purples and blues and greens. Like, thank you. We appreciate it. Can you do more of this? I don't understand what the issue is. All right, we got the 6 pans. So, one of the original 6 pans, this is going to be Mothership Subliminal Platinum Bronze. A beautiful palette, just really gorgeous, gorgeous. Cooler tone palette, it just doesn't get any better, okay? It really doesn't. Then we also have one of my favorites. This is Mothership Subversive Lobby in Rose. Like I said, prior to all the rose taking the chokehold. Really pretty. Even with the mauves and the gold, and this purple is really pretty. And Pale Fire Nectar. Gorgeous. This baby right here, this is Bronze Ambition. So this was one of the original 6 pans as well. Honey, it just doesn't get any better than this. It's gorgeous. It's full of golds, but it's the right type of golds. You get great looks. You can get in and out the door really quickly with this. All right, so this one came out this past year in 23. This is Iconic Infatuation. This actually is all matte. I hope she does something like this in the future, but not so mauve-y. Okay, we have Rose Decadence here. I wore this year. Yeah, I did wear this year. I was happy with it. It was like, it was a solid look, you know? Oh, this one makes me mad. This is Bridgerton. This was the second. No, this was the first Bridgerton. Yeah. Oh my gosh. These make me so mad. It's not even funny. Like, oh my gosh. Like, if I was really to declutter a Pat McGrath, that would go. Okay. And she would go too. This is the second Bridgerton. But this one I think is actually better. Like if you never had tried Pat McGrath and you couldn't afford to get like Mothership 3 that had Gigabyte in it, then this would be good. I would recommend it for that purposes. But if you have like all the Pat McGrath that I have, it just wasn't even necessary, okay? Now, oh, this is a good one. I wanted to play with this at Christmas. I never get a chance. It's not too late, but it gives all the Christmas vibes. With the corruption shade in here and the teal, and oh, this is such a good palette. Yes, really, really pretty. Oh, this is that girl also. This is Mothership Subliminal. This is Dark Star. Such a great palette as well. Like, oh my gosh, do you see that? It's so good. Ooh, y'all should see how my eyelashes is hanging off. This packaging is so pretty. This was like a Lunar New Year release. This is Golden Opulence. The shades in here are just okay. It's nothing like, it's a solid palette, but it's nothing to like, oh my gosh, write home about. But it's pretty. I mean, you know. I've used it quite a few times. Oh, my babies. This is Mothership. This is Dark Galaxy. So now we have these shades in the big Mothership Mega. Really, really pretty. And then we have also Galactic Gold from the first Star Wars. Like, oh my gosh, such a time. So iconic. Like when this came out, this whole little, yes, so wonderful. All right, let's go with the Motherships. I undid them so I wouldn't be here forever. So we have Mothership 1. Such a beautiful color story. Yes, she's, look at this. And she's beautiful as well. Like, oh my gosh. All of these palettes are just so beautiful. And we have Mothership 3. Definitely very unique. One of the more out there color stories for her. One of my favorites is Mothership 4, the Decadence palette. I would love another palette like this too, Mama Pat. Like, oh my gosh, please. And the one that like basically almost broke the internet, got people like really paying attention, was Mothership 5. Gorgeous also. Got a little hard pan there, but yes, really, really pretty. We got Mothership 6. So many people love her now, like, you know, but they were not on the train with Mothership 6 back in the day. So, but I've always loved her. She's beautiful, you know. All right, we all started it, Divine Rose. So this is Divine Rose 1, Mothership 7. Here's the corresponding packaging that goes along with it. My favorite, I love me some Divine Rose too. Like, oh my gosh, I do love this. So I'm not even going to sit here and act like it, but I wish this shade hadn't like gotten hard pan, but I do love this palette. And we got Utopian Dream. This is Mothership 9. I have like new appreciation for her. Really pretty as well, but as you can see, it's been really pink lately. All right, and we got Mothership 10. This was, what is this? Moon. What was she? Moonlit Seduction. This color story was really pretty as well, because even though it was mauve, it was a little bit more cool tone. I did appreciate it. I did have a lot of fun with this palette when it came out. And like through the beginning of last year, the end of, what was it? 22. And then we have the newest. This is Mothership 11. So, I mean, you know, she's giving Divine Rose all over again. This is Sunlit Seduction. But, you know, I'm not necessarily terribly mad at it, but I'm mad at it. All right, so those are all my palettes. Let's see, I have one palette in the maybe column. So let's see. And it was this, The Tribe by Juvia's, and I'm going to let her go. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to let her go. So let's see how many I am decluttering. All right, y'all. So the totals are up. I started with 223 palettes. I decluttered 39. That leaves me with a total of 184 palettes. So now I have the joy of putting all of this back. But I hope you guys enjoyed this palette collection and declutter. I'm happy. Yeah, 39, that's good. And especially some stuff that's just been really just taking up space. So, all right, guys. See you later. Subscribe to my channel. This is the chair dance. Hey, time for the chair dance. It's the hand dance. All right, y'all. Bye.